should we talk about something that has got me ready to spend hundreds of pounds?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised you haven't already got a PlayStation. I'm surprised you were able to hold yourself off till they came to PC last time.
Yeah. So we're talking about Spider-Man 2. So when Spider-Man came out initially,
Hmm.
I was fighting demons to not buy a PlayStation 5. I was like, you can't buy a PlayStation 5, just play one game. And then by
Mm-hmm.
the time Miles came around, I was unemployed. So I was like, well, I don't have a choice. And then with Brain being the way Brain be, I'd kind of forgotten about them. And then they came to PC, and now I know what I'm missing out on if I don't get a PlayStation 5 for Spider-Man 2's release.
Yeah, you've played it now, so now it's like
Mm.
you know what you're gonna
But
see other
after that
people
announcement,
playing.
while we were playing Valorant last night, me and Luke was like, "I will speed run that game in like a week, and then I'll drive my PlayStation down to you so you can play it." I was
what,
like, "Fucking bet."
what a legend.
But yeah, no, this. So Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man Miles Morales, I made no qualms about when they came out during the existence of our podcast on PC,
Yeah,
and I played them. How they are two of the greatest games ever made.
yep, these are for you, sir.
Spider-Man as a character is just perfectly built for video games anyway.
Correct.
And then what Insomniac did and went, okay, yeah, cool. It might be easy to make a decent Spider-Man game, but what if we make a fucking phenomenal Spider-Man game with a good story and phenomenal character design and everything else? Um, and I mean, everyone's been waiting for this Spider-Man 2 announcement.
They have.
Do you know what I do kind of love? And it is actually a good thing. With Craven the Craven film coming out this October,
Mm-hmm.
I was worried that the reputation of Craven the Hunter was going to be destroyed. This game is going to protect that reputation.
Well, my first note is, can we get them making the Craven film?
Yeah,
Because if
it
anything,
looks like
it's like
Insomniac fucking gets Craven.
it's wild that, like, let's be real. Obviously, so it's Insomniac that making the game. It's not like Sony is having the say, but it's like it's wild that Sony is going to be making a shockingly bad, potentially bad Craven film. But then we've got Spider-Man 2 coming out where Craven looks fucking incredible and how Craven should be. And
Well, it's really interesting because I didn't know this until earlier today. The game rights for Spider-Man are still owned by Marvel and DC and Disney.
oh,
It is simply
a
they
PlayStation deal.
yeah, it's a PlayStation deal through Insomniac. So the reason these game stories are so good is because Sony don't get to fucking touch them.
Ah, it's still Marvel. Like, oh, this is what you should do. This is how Craven
Yes.
should be done.
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense then.
Mm-hmm. But do you know what that does mean?
Well,
Are we all ready to put a conspiracy hat on?
oh, here we go. I'm
Spider-Man
ready.
came out in 2018, the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 2021, we got Spider-Man No Way Home, which featured 6 villains, a kind of Sinister Six, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And the main villains of the Spider-Man game was the Sinister Six.
Okay.
Um, Now in 2023, we
Mm-hmm.
are getting a game where the villains mentioned by name or association are Venom, Craven, and the Lizard.
Yeah,
We know a Craven film is coming, and there
we
is a
do.
Spider-Man film due like late 2024, early 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And people are begging for Spider-Man to face off against Venom.
Well, let's add to this conspiracy. In the end of No Way Home, we had that Venom got TP'd away and he left a little drop, a little splooge of
A Venom goop.
symbiote or whatever you want
Yeah,
to call it.
symbiote.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that makes
More
its way to
interestingly,
New York,
more interestingly, in the documentation and writing surrounding this game,
Mm,
this Earth is giving its number in Marvel continuity.
okay.
So it has a multiverse ID,
Okay.
and it's coming out 4 months after Across the Spider-Verse, in which we know the Insomniac Spider-Man design is in the game.
And they mention Doctor Strange and that kid on. It's
Mm.
all tying
Mm.
together.
I swear to God, I swear to God, we are getting at least voice acted, potentially live action parts from Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire in this film. And this is the last time I want that to happen. It was hype for No Way Home because we hadn't seen them in so long.
Yeah.
For Across the Spider-Verse, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
After that, leave it for a while. Because it's still the same actors, it's still the same characters. After that, leave it until we're like in our 50s. Well, I'll be in my 50s, you'll be in your 70s.
Referee.
And
Just
we've had 2 or 3 new Spider-Man actors, and then bring them all back and give us something to really be hype over.
well, do you know what? Okay, so playing off of that, we've got completely sidetracked from Spider-Man 2, but bring them, like you say, bring them back for Spider-Verse, voice acting or whatever, and put them away for a while. And like before the show, or before recording, we discussed, and I said, well, we were saying how we think Miles Morales should be the face of the MCU when it comes to time. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, you could do that when Tom Holland's stepping away from Spider-Man. It's like a handing of the reins. Obviously introduced him before then. What if it's like the point when that happens, if he's like struggling with like he needs to like kind of step away or whatnot, like that could be the moment where they come back again because he needs their advice. And they would be
Yes.
older. So they can be like, well, we've stepped away. It's okay. And then that'll be like big full circle moment, wraps them all up, and they all get their like payoff at the end.
Mm-hmm. We also got to see some of the quick swapping between
Yes.
Miles and Peter in game, which was fluid AF.
Yes, it was. And I really liked how they showcased that with the idea of like, oh shit, that's across to I just kind of get there. And it's like, oh, you can just swap to Miles. I'm wondering, is there anyone else they might let us swap to?
Imagine a DLC for this game where you get more Spider-Verse characters.
Gwen.
It'd be so lit.
I'm trying to think who else they could like add in that's like, oh, just swap over to, I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, the way GTA 5 did it back in 2013 was fluid as fuck for the time.
Yeah, it was.
Don't get me wrong, they did it in a very smart way, and there was random times where it would take a little bit longer because the systems just weren't as powerful, but they still did a really good job. With the speed and power of the PS5, brother, I genuinely won't be surprised if it is 100% as fluid as shown and they haven't made it look more fluid.
So I have a hope that I won't be playing the game because I won't be getting a PlayStation, but I'll see people play it. I kind of hope that obviously there's going to be story moments where it's like, oh, I can't get across town, switch. But obviously the idea will be you can probably switch at any time when you're just like free roaming.
I really hope you can.
If that's the case, I hope like you can switch to Miles and he's just like sat on a rooftop mid eating a burger and you're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
go time. Or like he's like on the street taking a selfie with someone and then it's like you switched them and it's like you're catching them mid act or
Yeah.
something. They could have some fun with that, and I hope they do. But also the abilities that were showcased, there was a
The
lot.
way they showed it off is so good. So, couple of bits
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen people discussed on the interwebs. Traditionally, the symbiote suit doesn't use tendrils when Peter's using it. So people
Okay.
are a little bit weird about that. Don't really care.
Yeah.
Um, some people saying it looks a bit too weird and slick. And like there was two schools of thought in that. It's like, well, yeah, it's an alien symbiote. Of course, it doesn't look like cloth. And then other people like, no, in the comics, the reason he wore it was because he thought it was just cloth because it looked like cloth. Um,
Mm,
so at the end of the day, we've done more outrageous things. I'm actually what people need to be reminded of. Everyone wants to sit there as Spider-Man fans and go, the Raimi trilogy is the best trilogy.
yeah.
If the Raimi trilogy came out today, you motherfuckers would be flaming it for changing how his webs work.
Yeah. This is
The
true.
Raimi trilogy, if it didn't have nostalgia behind it, would get torn to pieces by modern superhero film fans or superhero fans in general.
Yeah,
We
it
need
would.
to take the kind of thinking we had towards the Raimi films forward with us, in the sense of, did I enjoy it? Did I feel like the characters were presented in a way I like? Was it an enjoyable film?
Yeah, and it's like
That's all that matters.
if there is a slight change, has it really taken away from what it's supposed to do? So it's like him
Exactly.
using tendrils. Is it the same? Is it like how it was in the comics? No. Does it make a lot of sense for a video game to do abilities that way visually? Yes. Hell yeah. So
Exactly.
sure, it's not the end of the world. Also, like the way it looks, I mean, it's you also don't know, like you're going off what we've seen where he's already wearing it. How do you know that it didn't present itself as like a cloth looking thing
Yeah.
and it's just
And let's be real. There's going to be a suit in game that is like a comic version of it, which is just going to be like a
a matte black?
slick matte
Yeah.
black. So if it really bugs you that much, you're going to be able to change it anyway.
Yeah.
I can't wait because remember, they did like 20 suits in the games
Mm.
anyway. They're going to probably do more suits this time, but they're also going to have normal Spider Man suits. They're going to have Venom Spider Man suits, and they're going to have Miles suits probably. There's probably going to be like nearly 100 suits to unlock in this game.
Are you ready for like a Spider-Verse styled suit?
I just, well, they had them.
Yeah, but
In
like
Miles, they had a Spider Verse suit, which was sick.
now you're gonna get
It,
it.
it changed the frame rate of the animation of your character when you were swinging to
Well,
make it look
now
like
you
Spider
might get
Verse.
a Spider-Verse Venom suit.
Don't. But yeah, there is a real chance that, depending on financial situations, I cop a PS5 or I steal slash borrow Luke's PS5 to grind the fuck out of the game, buy a capture card so that I can stream it, and then never give him his PS5
Just
back.
take in about 200 console games to CEX and you might get about 20 quid off it.
um, but yeah, no, I'm very very excited for that. I think it is peak Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're someone who plays games but doesn't normally like action games, like more like adventure games, and you find yourself getting stressed out by the combat, please play these games anyway and just put it on the easiest difficulty because the story is so damn tight in the first two, and I'm sure it will be in this one as well. That
Yeah.
if you're a Spider-Man fan, but like the amount of fighting that you have to in the game is what puts you off, whack it on the easiest difficulty. No one who's actually a fan is going to give you any shit for that. And if you're worried about that, just don't mention it. Um,
Yeah.
and enjoy this experience anyway. Please, I implore
Do
you.
you know what's wild?
Go on.
This game's gonna give us a better Craven story
I know it
in the
hurts
film.
so much.
And the film's gonna come out and everyone's gonna go, Spider-Man 2 did it better.
Do you know what the good news is though? It means the layman is going to fully understand why absolute nerds like me are so angry.
Yeah.
They're going to get it.
Yeah, everyone's gonna. Yeah, this thing. They're all gonna play Spider-Man 2, and then they're like, "Oh, Craven film." They're gonna be
Oh,
watching
that's
that.
going to be sick.
Huh? Sorry, he's protecting animals. He's a vegan.
I've just seen this man try and eat Spider Man's heart. What do you mean?
He's just ordered an oat latte. Excuse me.
Another thing that you may or may not have seen on Twitter, but everyone is begging for. So Shocker was one of like an early game boss
Okay.
in the first Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a recreation of the scene from the animated show from the 90s. So when he gets the black suit in the 90s,
Mm.
basically the voice actor for Spider-Man did a very similar thing to what Yuri's done for this, which
Mhm.
he just makes his voice a bit more gravelly and a bit more intense.
Yeah.
And with 90s voice acting for a kid show, it is a bit quirky and funny, but it's still quite good. And he's chasing off the Shooker, and he just says some of the most out of pocket shit while he's in the black suit. So he's like, "You can't run from me, Shooker! I'll tear this place down to find you." You just see Shooker fucking booking it upstairs, looking like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out!" And everyone is begging for that to be made an Easter egg
That would be quite good, actually.
because it would just be so funny. Because you're like, the trend at the minute. It's like, oh, so and so has the chance to do the funniest thing ever, and it's two
Mm.
pictures that make no sense. Everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" Someone did that, but with the Shocker and Spider Man, and they're like, "No, but for real, you have an
Please.
opportunity here."
Yeah.
But yeah, very good looking game, and I cannot wait. Um, to watch playthroughs of it, but also hopefully to get my hands on it and not wait till 2025 to play it. Especially with PC or PlayStation PC ports of late. I'm not even confident that Insomniac will go free for free and make it a good port.
Yeah, and also for my own sanity, I need you to play it so I don't have to hear about the pain you're going through on a daily basis of not.
Me just sitting here watching my ninth
I'm
different
like, well, it's
playthroughs
like,
of a streamer
it's,
just crying into
it's
ice
going to be
cream.
like the style of podcast, like, oh, how's your week kind of been? It's like, oh, I've still not played
Terrible.
Spider-Man. I've watched 10 different people play the same mission. But hopefully
Yeah.
not.
My ideal situation
Here we go.
would be just before the game comes out, they announce their PS5 Pro, and they
Mhm.
offer a really good deal for the PS5 Pro and Spider-Man 2. So I buy that. I also rebuy Miles and Spider-Man, and then I book a week off work and stream all three of them back to back to back. And then I don't touch my PlayStation again until Wolverine comes out.
Just shelve it.
Yeah.
Nice.